6 months from now, you'll either be closing deals or still watching videos like this and went from $30,000 in the bank to over $3 million in gross profit in 3 years. My last $30,000 in my checking account. My wife had just lost her job and we had a wedding to pay for. Making money is a skill. And in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact skills. They're treating this like a treasure hunt when it's actually a training camp. 3 years ago, I was staring at my last $30,000 in my checking account. My wife had just lost her job and we had a wedding to pay for. And the dream house that we purchased in Colorado was bleeding us dry every single month. We just ended 2025 with one of our most transformative years as a land business and went from $30,000 in the bank to over $3 million in gross profit in 3 years. And you might ask yourself, what changed? I didn't find some magic property and get lucky with the deal. I discovered something that will transform the next 6 months of your life if you actually pay attention. Making money is a skill, and in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact skills that took me from near bankruptcy to building a 7-figure land business. Skills that you can start developing today, even if you've never bought a piece of property. Now stick around until the end because I'm going to reveal one of the most counterintuitive things about skill acquisition that most people get completely backwards. And it's the reason 6 months from now, you'll either be closing deals or still watching videos like this about it. Now, I had a mentor tell me that you don't learn business. You acquire a stack of skills that allow you to do business. So think about that for a second. Everyone is searching for the perfect market, the perfect CRM, the perfect marketing channel. They're treating this like a treasure hunt when it's actually a training camp. When I started in late 2022, I thought success meant finding deals. I was dead wrong. Success meant becoming the kind of person who could find, negotiate, close, and scale deals consistently. And that happens through what I call technique stacking, building one skill on top of another until you have an unfair advantage the market cannot compete with. Now, let me break down the 6 skills that I find actually matter. Here's a kicker. Land investing will teach you all of them faster than any business program or MBA ever could. And they're incredibly transferable. Now, skill number 1 is sales. It is the foundation of success in business. And before you roll your eyes and think, I'm not a salesperson, let me tell you something. Every single person who's stuck in their land business is stuck because they can't sell for one reason or another. Now, I remember sitting on a call with a seller in Texas. He wanted $85,000 for a property worth maybe $60,000 at best. The old me would have said, this guy's unrealistic. Next. But I developed the skill. I asked questions. I listened. I found out that his wife was in the hospital. He needed cash fast, but didn't want to feel like he was giving it away. So I structured a deal. We purchased it for $45,000 cash. We cover all the closing costs. He said yes, and we made over $28,000 in profit in 3 weeks. But the only reason I was able to do this was not because I was manipulation, because I knew where he was. I knew it was a problem that he needed to solve. I knew what he needed, and I positioned my solution in a way that served them, and I was able to close quickly. Now, the technique is 80% of your time should be on customer interactions. I had a private coaching client who was underperforming. When I had him track his actual time, we found his acquisition manager was getting 2 to 3 fewer contracts than what he was in his seat. But don't worry if you're not a natural. Scripts give us structure. My team locked up $872,000 in a week because we followed the same script every call. We can predict what the sellers will say before they even say it. The skill isn't about being charismatic. The skill is about being consistent. Skill number 2 on your skill stack is marketing. It is the lifeblood of our business. And this is where most people fall apart. Now, it's the lifeblood of land investing. We need sellers to interact with us. Without leads, you have no business. You have a hobby. But what separates the people who make 6 figures from the people who make 6-figure months, they don't just market. They track, they test, they target, they A/B test. When I first started, I sent 15,000 mailers out. You know how many deals I got? I got 0. Not even a phone call worth remembered. I burned through $8,000 with nothing to show for it. Now, most people would quit here. I doubled down, but smarter. I started A/B testing everything. 2 variations of every mailer, different copy, same structure. I tracked cost per lead, cost per qualified lead, cost per contract. I discovered which markets responded and which were dead zones. I constantly educated myself in what was working in different industries like wholesaling and house flipping so I could be better. If you're bad at marketing and you don't track, you don't A/B test, you don't target, you don't spend enough money, I promise you will not scale this business. It's not about blasting. We're in the era of targeting, and that's the game for the next 5 years. Even if you only have a couple $1,000s for marketing, you want to test 2 versions. You want to track what works. You want to build the skill of knowing what actually drives results. Skill number 3 is decision making. And you might say, hey, how is this a skill? And I'm going to get into that in a second. But this is the one that separates the people who are gamblers with decision makers. Now, we as entrepreneurs are resource allocators. Say you start with $50,000 in the bank. There's so many entrepreneurs, so many stories of people that start with nothing and build amazing businesses. Of course, it's a combination of hard work, lucky timing, but all these people are actually good allocators of resources. And what's the backbone of being a resource allocator? Decision making. So every decision we make should be weighed like an investment. The better our decisions, the faster our business grows. Good decisions compound over time. Bad decisions sink us. The problem, though, is unlike most areas of life, the feedback loop in business is long. You might make a choice today, you might not see the result for 6 months. So what happens? Our primal brain makes up reasons when something succeeds or fails, and we lie to ourselves. I started keeping a decision journal. I learned this from Farnham Street. It's a website about decision making and becoming a better thinker. Every major decision I write down, what I decided, why I decided it, what I expected to happen. Then I come back and review what actually happened. Was my reasoning right or wrong? And one thing that I will tell you, the technique is the quality of your business comes down to the quality of your questions. So great questions that I ask myself is, what's my biggest constraint to achieve this outcome? What do I ignore because it's too painful to accept? Who do I need to hire or bring in to help me achieve this specific outcome? Good decisions compound wisdom over time. And you get paid as an entrepreneur based on your ability to make clear decisions under uncertainty. Buy the deal that's a little bit above your comfort zone. Reach out to the funder that you thought that you weren't ready to connect with, right? So one more thing on decision making. It's very easy in today's day and age to delegate your decision making, your thinking to AI. And the way I think about AI is a thought partner. But your ability to make decisions will atrophy over time if you do not practice this muscle. It's like any other muscle. And so if you are allowing AI or someone else to make all your decisions for you, you're dead in the water. You can never build your own proprietary business. You can never create internal IP that allows you to outcompete other people. And so even though it's very tempting to delegate your decision making to AI, if you're going to use AI, I would use it as a thought partner, not as the person that makes the final decision, because people who become better over time are people who actually make these decisions, learn from them. Using AI, of course, it's a competitive advantage, but not relying on AI. Skill number 4 is KPI management. It's about visibility. Why is this a skill? KPI management. I know. This sounds boring. You know, when I started tracking KPIs felt like the worst thing in the world. I'm a visionary type. Spreadsheets make me want to cry. But the reality is, if you don't track your KPIs, you're not actually running a business. You're gambling. And even though this is such a small coupled belief, I was making offers blind. I had no idea what my cost per lead was, my cost per contract, my response rate. I was just hoping things would work out. And so this discipline of tracking KPIs helps so much. The KPIs that matter are cost per lead, cost per qualified lead, cost per contract, cost per deal, average profit, return on ad spend, cash conversion cycle. These are just one of the few, but they tell you where your pipeline is broken. What's powerful about this is it's like going to the doctor and getting your blood work done. If your qualified leads are low, but your raw leads are high, you have a targeting problem. If your contracts are high, but your deals are low, you have a closing or disposition problem. The numbers will tell you exactly where to focus. Now, the technique is build a KPI dashboard. Even a simple spreadsheet, track it weekly. The visibility isn't sexy, but it's the difference between driving at night with headlights versus without them. And if you want a quick link to our KPI sheet, you can click the link down below. We will add it to the description. Now, don't worry if math's not your thing either. Neither was mine, but forcing yourself to see the truth is a step that gets you to the next level. And it does not have to be complicated. It can be a very simple KPI sheet. That is all you need. Skill number 5 is leadership. It is leverage in this business. And that is where real wealth gets built. Real wealth is not built by you doing everything. It gets built with other people. There's a famous quote I love. Good operators build systems. Great operators build people. When you're making 30 to 50K a month, you're hustling. hustler. You're doing everything yourself. But to get 7 figures and beyond, to build a sustainable business, to build a business that's not reliant on you so you can't ever step away, you need to become a leader. Now, I made this mistake early. I had a high-performing lead manager, eloquent, capable, seemed intelligent. I tried to promote her to build out our entire disposition department. I expected her to be a doer, a thinker, a strategist, a partial CEO of this little department, and she failed. Not because she wasn't talented, because I set her up for failure. And the technique is hire for results, not roles. Build your team in sequence. Build your team with constraints. Admin, then fulfillment, then marketing, then sales, then leadership, and do not skip steps. Now, what I've learned about leadership at scale is at every stage, there is one large problem preventing you from reaching the next level. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's buried. Your job as a CEO, your only job is to identify and solve that problem. Think of it like a log jam in a river. You can unlock just that one part of the dam and everything flows. But most people, they jump around trying to fix problems 3 miles downstream while ignoring the one that is right in front of them. Now, in order to be a good leader, in my experience, you have to have a very, very clear goal. You have to have a set of expectations, core values, operating principles that your entire community can rally behind. And then you point people in that direction and you manage for outcomes, not micromanagement. Now, there's a whole other video that I can make on leadership. If you want me to, leave a comment down below and say, hey, Clay, I'd love for you to talk about your leadership style, like gapology and performance management and people management. But in general, leadership is a skill that you need to learn in order to build this business and actually create an enterprise that can produce outsized returns. So skill number 6, the one that ties everything together, is acquiring skills. Now, you might say, hey, Clay, that's a little bit of a cop-out. This is about progressive overload for your mind. In the gym, you don't walk in day one and bench press 300 pounds. You start with the bar, you add weight over time, your muscles adapt, you get stronger. Your brain works the same exact way. Rapid learning requires pure focus, no distractions, total immersion. When I decided to figure out land investing, I wasn't dabbling, I was obsessed. I went through courses that sucked, I sent mailers that failed, but something in me said, figure it out anyway. Now, I didn't figure it out at the beginning because most community courses learning this business aren't set up in sequence, right? It's just all, here's a bunch of information, go and do it, right? And the way we focus on is the land ladder, it's sequential. At every level of where you are currently in your business, whether you're starting, scaling, have multiple people, have COOs, want to become a developer, at every step, there's different things that you need to focus on, different people that you need to hire, different skills that you need to acquire based on the constraints that we've seen. And that is all free. If you want to have that, it is the backbone of the Land Ladder community. You can click the link down below though to get a free scaling roadmap that is where you are currently in your business and the things that you need to focus on, the skill sets, the constraints that you need to address in order to get to the next level. Now, here's the counterintuitive truth I promised you at the beginning. Stress is a tool, right? When my wife lost her job and we had that wedding to pay for, I put myself on a deadline, not a soft goal, a hard constraint. I had to make this work or we were done. We were going bankrupt. That forced compliance and execution. That eliminated the option of quitting. Now, the technique is give yourself a 6-month runway. Commit fully. Don't hedge your bets with 3 different side hustles. Stack techniques in one domain. Texting, calling, direct mail, PPC. Pick your channel, master it before adding another. Imagine being the person 6 months from now who did what they said they were going to do, who stacked the skills, who didn't get distracted, who actually crushed it. That person is available to you right now. The only question is whether you're going to become them. Now, here is why this matters more than ever. We're in an era where AI is threatening to wipe out traditional jobs. The people who will thrive are the ones with real skills, skills that cannot be automated. And there's no better training ground than building a land business. Sales, marketing, decision-making, KPI management, leadership, skill acquisitions. These transfer everywhere. They compound forever. They are non-perishable skills. The longer you wait, the longer you fall behind. Look, I just gave you the exact skill stack that built a 7-figure land business. Most people will watch this video, they'll feel inspired, they'll maybe take some notes, and nothing will change. Nothing about their life will change. Do not be that person. If this video hit home, hit the subscribe button right now. I drop content every week that shows you exactly how to build this business the right way. No hype, just systems that actually work. Now here's the thing. These 6 skills don't develop randomly. They develop in stages. That's why I created something called the land ladder that I just mentioned. It is a 5-stage roadmap that takes you from a complete beginner to a developer. Stage 1, the beginner, is all about validating the model and closing your first profitable deal. Stage 2, the hustler, is about building momentum and hitting 2 to 3 deals a month. Then operator, then architect, then developer. Each stage has a specific skills that you need to master before you graduate to the next level. The problem most people have is they try to learn architect level skills when they're still a beginner. They're watching videos about building teams when they haven't closed their first deal yet. That's backwards. If you want to see exactly where you are on the land ladder and what skills you need to focus on right now, not 6 months from now, literally right now, today, check out the link in the description. I'll show you the exact roadmap on how we help people move from stage to stage with real systems, real accountability, and real funding behind their deals, completely for free. 6 months, that's all it takes to change your life, provided you focus on the right skills in the right order at the right stage. I'll see you in the next one.